Next question.
Okay, so on YouTube, Dupre asked, what was the most extreme rafting activity you guys went for? I want to try something for novices, but adrenaline rushing.
Well, if you're a novice, you don't want to ask the most extreme rafting that we had, but, you know. Let's go for it. We'll tell you basically about like our three most memorable kind of whitewater rafting options that you have.
Yeah.
And there is actually quite a lot of choice in New Zealand. If I'm correct, I think there are 8 rivers which are commercially rafted all year round in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Am I correct? Yeah.
I think so.
Cool. All right. So the first one that comes up to mind for one of the most epic whitewater rafting, and actually we already talked about it once in this video, is the Rangi rafting, which is near Geraldine. It is, I think, one of my favorite whitewater rafting in the country. It's inside a really epic canyon. It's grade 5, is that correct?
That's right.
Grade 5 all year round. And the team is absolutely exceptional down there. And you want an adrenaline rush, you will have one. It is really a gushing torrential river where, you know, like you don't have that much room for error. Everybody has to work in the raft and everything.
Yeah.
It is not, like super scary because, again, it's commercially rafted, right? So if it is commercially rafted, that means safe enough. The staff is really well trained and everything. So it's not like a really dangerous one, but it's definitely some of the epicest waters to whitewater raft in the country for sure.
Yeah.
So Rangi raft for me will be on my top 3 of the most epic whitewater rafting in New Zealand.
Yeah, just before we move on to another one, just to explain the different grades. So in New Zealand, there's 5 different grades that you can raft in commercial rafting trips. So obviously the easiest one, the nicest one with little rapids, that would be starting at grade 1, and then the most extreme rapids and the most extreme trips you will go on is grade 5. So grade 4 is pretty gnarly as well, and then grade 3 is like the most common sort of trip you'll find in New Zealand, and that's a really good mix of rapids but also feeling quite safe as well. Like all of them are safe, but you know, grade 3 is usually a slightly bit more mellow. So if you are a little bit nervous about rafting for the first time, that's a good one to start off with.
I'll just go grade 5 and, you know, scare yourself at one good time, and then after you'll be sweet every other time you do it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so our
second, your approach.
Our second whitewater rafting trip, like extreme whitewater rafting in New Zealand.
Yeah, so another good extreme one is the grade 4 access 14 on the Tongariro River. But the thing about this trip is it only happens a few times a year because it's actually the water level's controlled by a dam further up the river, so that determines whether you can raft that river or not. But there's 2 rafting companies in the town of Rangi in the very center of the North Island, and they run trips to do the access 14 on the Tongariro River, and that's really awesome. You have to basically, once you're in the raft, you are straight into the action and it's full on for the entire time. But also the thing to bear in mind with whitewater rafting is that it is teamwork and you do have to be really active in the trip. It's not something that you can just sit back and relax and watch the tour guide show you the scenery. You have to be in it and you have to be, part of the team. But that's a really cool thing about it.
That's what whitewater rafting is all about. To be fair, almost every whitewater rafting has some spot where you can kind of like, you know, just enjoy the scenery and everything, but the most part is kind of to vanquish that epic river as a team. It's really awesome. Now again, this Access 14 is really nice, but it only opens a few times in a year, so it's not something that, you know, most people can kind of plan throughout their trip. You kind of, you know, you're gonna be better off going to Rangitata or to the number 3 most epic whitewater rafting that I have on my little list, which is the Kaituna River. It is in Rotorua, and it's actually it features through the trip the highest commercially rafted waterfall in the world. And yes, waterfall. So you kind of go through beautiful native bush, and it's a rather kind of mellow whitewater rafting throughout the whole way. So it's perfect for beginner, but at some point it drops 7 meters. I don't know how much it is in feet, but it's a lot of feet, and it's really high.
It's the highest commercially rafted waterfall in the world.
Yeah. I think I said that. Didn't I? Oh, yeah.
Or maybe I was reading.
But yeah,
trying to
so
multitask and
it
not
is
somewhere.
really epic. So it's that high that the raft, which is literally just made of air, right? It's literally air that doesn't go in water, when it's completely submerged for like, I don't know, a little bit, and then everything just pops out, and it is really, really, really awesome. And also, it's kind of a good thing to put on your man resume right here, to have like, I raft the highest commercially whitewater blah 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 in the world.
Yeah.
You just obviously word it better, but yeah, it is quite epic. Now the trip itself is rather short, making it much cheaper than the Rangi, for example. And there is much more operators that do it, so there's more competition. Everything is probably one of the most easiest to access as well, because it's in Rotorua. So it's right in the center of the North Island. And the trip itself, especially for beginners, is rather easy. You play a lot of games, like for example, they get you to jump out of the raft and to kind of hold to the raft and put your feet underneath, so you feel all the pebbles and everything, the pebbles and everything. So there's quite a lot of games happening and stuff. And then there is this epic drop. So yeah, it's one of them as well. It makes it epic because of that drop. And here you go. I feel that this covers the epicness of the whitewater rafting in the country. There is obviously much more whitewater rafting, and I'm going to link you to the article called The Best Whitewater Rafting Trips in New Zealand, where we list actually, I think, 7 of them, and we tell you what we like about them and how epic they are. So yeah, there is a lot of choice here. And I feel like those ones give you a really good idea around. If you do have any follow-up questions, put it below. If you're watching this video later on down the week, put your questions below, and we'll go through them every Sunday live.
For sure.